Today we're featuring the 2020 regional winners of the Environmental Stewardship Award. Let's take you to Nevada to see the Region 6 Award winner.
The rugged landscape of northeast Nevada is where you'll find the cattle that make their home on the Boys Ranch. Today, Steve and Robin Boys care for the land that has been in the family for generations.
My family has been on this particular ranch since 1945. Robin, my wife, and I have been ranching here for over 40 years. This ranch is interesting because I tell people it's bigger than the small ones and smaller than the big ones, but it's never without family members being involved in the day-to-day work.
The cattle on Boys Ranch graze on a mix of private and public lands, with 13,000 acres owned and an additional 112,000 acres leased from the Bureau of Land Management.
It's a combination of private property and public property that we manage. So there's a lot of difference in public land versus private land holdings. If we want to make any improvements, a water trough, a fence line, anything like that, we have to go through a regulatory process, and that can take a lot of time to get that done.
80% of the land is government land, but we like to think that we treat it as our own. We're stewards of all the land, whether it's private or public, and we take that very serious. To us, there's no line between that public and that private. We manage it all the same.
Years ago, Steve and Robin attended holistic resource management classes. The new information they gained caused them to reevaluate how they were managing their land and their cattle.
We were operating pretty much as it always had been for years, and it was becoming obvious that we needed to do something different.
There was a real paradigm shift that had to happen. And, just because your grandfather did it or it's been done for 100 years doesn't mean it's the right thing.
It really did open our minds to how beneficial cattle could be to the land if managed properly.
The first step was to create a rotational grazing plan for a ranch that had been managed the same way for decades.
Nothing was getting any kind of rest. There weren't the fences to do much of, control the cattle. And, it was obvious something needed to happen and to change management, but you can't change your management with cattle if you don't have the fencing and the water improvements. So it's really critical before grazing management changes are made to have those infrastructure improvements in place.
The changes we made in our grazing plan and the time of year of those cattle, they're out on the range now, and we're supplementing them on native grass, which has really helped the amount of hay that we feed in the winter. We've cut it in half, which has been a big help not only to us financially, but also to the land.
There are definitely noticeable improvements on the land that Steve and Robin manage. This area we're standing in here now, before a change in management had occurred, this was just dirt. And now we have all this grass and riparian vegetation. I just appreciate the opportunity to, be on the land that they have taken such good care of.
It's not a fast process, but we've been learning and we've had some successes, and we feel that we've turned the land around. We've turned it around not in spite of cattle, but because of cattle. We use those cattle as a tool, and you don't have a lot of tools out here, and grazing is one of them.
Making change happen alone is difficult, so Steve and Robin helped create the Shoe Soul Management Team. This collaboration brought together the people of neighboring ranches and government agencies to share ideas and to help make resource management decisions together.
The working relationship between the private and the public, it has to work together. And that's where these meetings and these partners we have in this collaborative group are so important. We meet 3 times a year. That way we have input from those entities that have concerns out there. If they have a concern, they bring it up at the meeting and we all talk about it and we adjust.
You're getting everybody together and basically trying to get at, this is what all of our desired outcomes are for what do we want to see on the ground, and then how are we going to get there through the types of management that we put in place.
It takes a lot of trust on the rancher side, takes a lot of trust on the agency side, and I think what they've done has been this great example of how this can work.
They know if we say we're going to do something, we try to do it. And so just that trust and that working relationship is extremely important in a ranch that has to deal with this much federal land.
For Steve and Robin, the commitment to stewardship has only grown stronger over the years, and they work hard every day to take the actions that will sustain this land and its natural beauty.
Steve and I feel that our job isn't done here. Our objective is to leave things better than when we started out 43 years ago.
We may not see the benefits of many of the things that we're doing right now, but for the generations to come behind us, they will see it, and that means a lot to us. And I hope that the future generations can enjoy it as much as Robin and I have.